let's just tick a couple of boxes then. You've got yourself a car. You've not driven it yet. Your parents have got it here, or your friends said you can have this car. It's quite cheap. It's on the driveway. It's taxed, insured, MOT, everything's legal. All you've got to do is get in and drive it. It's quite scary at first. A little bit of nerves, butterflies, because you're thinking, well, I know I'm all right, but I've not driven for a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, because since we took my test, that's it. Been doing no driving. And you get in the car, and the first things you want to do is obviously get yourself set up with your controls of the car, because it's a strange car. And remember, it's probably not going to be as new as your instructor car. It's probably going to be a good second-hand one that you've seen and you thought, oh, I like that one, I love that. Try and control the excitement, and just remember, safety is quite important, because if you don't control the first few minutes, you're going to do something silly. So just play around with the controls, get yourself used to where the gears are, get used to that biting point, because it's completely different. And I can almost guarantee, unless it's an automatic that is, I can almost guarantee you're going to stall. You know, the amount of people who come to me who say, I've passed my test, I was fine, but now I've got myself a car, I can't drive it, I'm stalling all the time. And I say to them, well, just take your time, you know, get yourself to the point where you go out, it's quiet. So why you've got a car at the moment and you want to drive to the shop, or you want to drive to your friends, then just say to yourself, right, I just need to do it in a quiet time. So drive around the block where I live and just remember the basic things, you know, a bit of power before you move off. Take your time with the clutch, things like that. Feel for that biting point so it's safe. Don't feel as though you've got to try and drive to that standard that you were at when you took your test, because it's going to take a while to get back there, you know. Unless you suddenly went from passing your test the day before to getting the car the day after, then you know what to do. You just got to get used to the car and the clutch and the biting point and the brakes and the accelerator and where the indicators are and the blind spots in this car, the pillars, how big they are. These are the things that you've got to think about. And also, because we're actually still in the winter, where the lights are, how to turn them on. Make sure you've got some de-icer in your windscreen wash. Little things like that you think, I don't need to know about. Well, you do now. You've got a car, because otherwise it's not going to work very well. So you take your time. You don't take risks, and there's going to be a pressure of a guy behind you or a girl behind you you can see him doing this to you, saying, get out, there's a gap. Well, get out when it's safe, because that's what I do. So when I'm chatting to you, I'm looking for the safe gap. I can see a gap on the right, there's a gap on the left. Now I was there, I don't know, I guess 20 seconds then, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. But if there's a queue behind you, it might feel like a turn test, especially if some idiot hits the arm behind you because they want you to go and take a risk. Remember that when you're driving, it's your car, you're the one who's responsible for being safe. And don't invite any of your friends along straight away. Just get used to the car. You'd be tempted. You're going to message all your mates. Picture your car, you stood next to it, smile on your face. They're all going to say, oh yeah, you're the local taxi this weekend, you're going to drive us all around. No, not yet. You don't mind driving them, but not for another month. Get used to being on your own. It's quite scary because there's no one next to you. And then there's a realisation that all that hard work you've been doing over the months with your instructor is paid off, because you can drive. You're doing things right, you're just not taking risks. Get used to how it feels doing 30 miles an hour, because it's going to feel different. Get used to the engine size, because it might have been you had a 1.6 litre engine, diesel or petrol in your car you learnt with. So just get used to the feel of things and how the gears change, because they could be stiffer or looser. And if you're not sure about, look it up. You know, don't kind of suffer in vain. If you've got your parents who drive, ask them. If you've got your mate who drives, ask them. Ask him for questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I mean, I've been driving now for 30 odd years and I still ask questions, you know. So don't feel like when you pass your test, that's it. You're just starting out. You've had maybe 40 or 60 hours of lessons or 100 hours of lessons. That's nothing, that. You know, I've been driving now for 30 years. It's got to be, I don't know how many hours that's got to be. It's got to be maybe say 1 million hours lessons. But you've got to remember that when you're driving in your car, you're going to make mistakes. You are. You're going to stall at a traffic lights. You're going to stall it in traffic. You just got to recover from it and not get put off by the guy bibbing you because you've not pulled off fast, or the big bus behind you is really close and you look in your mirror. And because you're going to be driving around more, you're going to come across these things more often. So all I can say is just get used to the car to start with. You know, drive in the area that you live, and drive in the quiet times. Get used to how it handles. Get used to that clutch, because it will pay a bit of a difference. And when you get used to the car, you'll start to feel more confident, and you'll be happy with your driving. Okay, good luck. And if you like the video, fantastic. And if you want to see more of these videos, then subscribe to the channel and watch out for my next video next week.